Hey there, super friends. It's Joey with Last Point Gaming. Today is Monday, January 28th, 2019. I completely forgot to look that up before I started. Oh well. How y'all doing? So, we had SCG Indy this weekend, and I gotta say, Top 8 was somewhat more diverse than I anticipated it would be. There were no Nexus decks. I still think Wilderness Reclamation was a bad idea. But I guess, well, we all know the best of one format is way different than the best of three format, right? When you can't really bring in sideboard cards, like if you syncopate a Nexus of Fate, it goes away forever. But syncopate isn't generally considered one of the best sideboard cards. Of course, with Wilderness Reclamation, I don't think that would work out very well. In any case, I'm sure there's hate cards that made games 2 and 3 much more difficult for that deck. So, that's cool. That it wasn't as crazy as I anticipated it would be. Man, I really gotta get a better mic for this so that I can keep my window cracked. Because, dude, reporters with lapel mics stand in freaking windstorms and it's fine. I don't know, maybe there's some editing magic that happens there. Maybe I need to clip it somewhere else. I don't know. But anyway, so still trying to figure out what it is I'm going to take down to Baltimore with me for standard slot on our team. Probably looking at either mono red or the red with the black splash in the sideboard for Theater of Horrors. Just because I don't really play standard, and even though this standard is pretty exciting, I do love my Modern Humans deck, like a lot. So I'm looking at this not only from a deck to take down to Baltimore with me that I should be able to figure out with limited problem, but also a deck then I can pass on to Boo and she can play at F&M. And I really love the Esper mid-range deck that... Was it Wyatt Darby? I think it was Wyatt Darby. That sounds right. It might not be, though. There was an Esper mid-range deck in the top 8. I think it was him. And I really like the look of that because, you know, of course it's playing a bunch of angels, and I love angels. Unfortunately, that deck would cost me a couple $100 to get together, and I don't think Boo could really pilot it effectively. Like, I don't think she'd have fun with it. So, I'd spend all this money for this one event, and none of the cards that are expensive in it do. I don't think any of them have legs outside of standard. So, all that being said, that one's kind of out. Like, I started a spreadsheet where I'm pricing out a couple different decks, and I didn't even bother pricing that one out, because I just, like, kind of glanced at prices from the deck list, and, yeah. Because, like, I don't think I own any Vraska's Contempts. I don't own any Lyras. I have one Seraph of the Scales. I'm trying to think what all the crazy expensive cards in that deck were, because there were a bunch that I was like, really? So, if you go on over to my Twitter, at Stranger Sparrow, Stranger and Sparrow, spelled normally, no spaces, just run them together like you never heard of a spacebar. I have a poll going for... The 4 decks on it are mono red, black red, which is actually that deck that it's mono red, except it splashes black in the sideboard for Theater of Horrors. Mardu Aristocrats, looking at Jerry T's build from his article. And, Is It Drake's? Is It Drake's has some counterspells, actually very limited counterspells between the main and the side. There's this weird whistling noise, and I don't know what it was. But for a deck that runs blue, it's pretty aggressive, and even after sideboarding, I would say it shifts more to a mid-range deck than a control deck. Is definitely not my favorite option on the list, but I think I could pilot it well enough. I have a similar... Whoa. Hi there. Like an almost Is It Drake's list on Arena that I've played a few times, and yeah, I think I play it okay. I might switch out for other cards in the sideboard and like just drop the counterspells altogether, because I'm like really bad with counterspells. But being that they're in the sideboard, I'm sure... Sorry about that. I'm sure that there is a specific reason they're there. I also... What was the other deck? Oh, Azurius aggro. That's pretty much a mono white deck with blue splash in the board. I did look at that one, and I like that one, and what I like the most about it is, out of all the decks I've looked at, it's the only one with white, therefore it is the only one with Tocatli Honor Guards in the sideboard, and I don't know that Golgari is still the thing it was, but even if it's not, like, Riot is an enter the battlefield trigger. I think so. I have to double check that, because if it's not, then the Tocatli Honor Guard isn't near as effective as I was thinking. So I don't know. I have this poll up and may end up going in a completely different direction. Mono white is looking pretty good. I'm sure there's still a good Boros aggro deck. Probably a good Orzhov aggro deck, actually, because the only problem with mono white is all of your removal is kind of expensive at 4 CMC. And it's all this enchantment exile removal. So if they destroy the enchantment, especially at an inopportune time, then, you know, you've created a problem for yourself. Whereas I think if you went black-white, you could put in, you know, effective removal that's just like, oh no, that's just gone. So I don't know. I still want to look around. I'm gonna read Star City articles this week, but I gotta settle on something like soon and get a hold of dealer and, you know, make sure that he has everything I need and all that happy jazz. Because, yeah, I gotta get working on this. Now, as we know, my team's not expecting to do fantastic, or they wouldn't have asked me to be on the team. Like, that's just the reality. We're, like, looking to have a good time, you know, hanging out together and playing this event and get to ooh and ah at the people from the internets. I may be the only person who gets excited about fangirling at Magic Pros, but, you know, whatever. So, I'm probably putting way more thought into this than I need to, but, like, I don't think our chances of making day 2 are that great. Not because of my teammates. Like, I think all of us are kind of mid-level players. Like, Vance was actually doing real well with GPs and everything. Like, he had enough Planeswalker points for buys. Was it last season or the one before? And Mirror Match is a really good player. But we're going from our local meta to a more global meta, and that always changes things. So yeah, I don't know. I I don't want to be like the last time I was at a team event, which was sealed, so, in my defense there. But where, out of all my teammates, I was the one with, 0 in the win column for the day. If I can just win a couple matches, I'll feel good. And I mean, aggro is definitely the best chance at picking up wins for me because it's, what I play the most. I do really love the Golgari Wild Growth Walker deck. It's another one that I would have to put so much money into it, and I don't think Boo would like playing it. That it's just, unless I could just borrow, one of the guys from the shop, just borrow their deck, it's just not worth it to me to put that kind of money out. Especially when we're still early enough in the new format that aggro does pretty well. I really should probably find a white-based deck. The more I think about it. I don't know. I have to look and see what's out there. So, that's where we're at. SCG Indy, I didn't catch a whole lot of coverage. Just little bits and pieces. Last night, they were awarding the trophy, and I was just watching the semifinals, and husband's like, yeah, you fell asleep sitting up on the couch. Like, you were watching the semifinals at one point, and then you were asleep, and now you're awake, and the tournament is over. I was like, shit. But Standard's still looking really great. I like that there's so much diversity in it. And I'm sure over the next couple weeks, a couple decks will bubble up to the top, and those will be the decks to beat. But in the interim, you have this wide open field, and even, I think, once we get to the, here are the two, major decks of this Standard season, I think the tier 1.5 decks will still, don't hit me, please, will still be pretty good. I don't think it's going to be like Rami Red Teamer Energy Standard, where, you played one of those two decks, or you didn't get to play much Magic. It's just, like I said, unfortunately, I really love this Humans deck. And also, I feel the need to keep playing Modern, to keep our Modern presence going. Because I don't want to say drop it, because Standard's good right now. End up in a position where Standard sucks again, but we've lost all of our Modern players. So, I am really excited to get to go down to Baltimore. My major goal in Baltimore, and I have to turn on alerts for Tan and Grace, is to be able to score a pack of BCW sleeves off of Tannen. That is my primary objective. And get that Skippy Angel playmat. I definitely like it. It's very nice artwork. I'm not about the botanical growth, is that what it was? The standard playmat. But luckily both of my teammates have agreed to trade me the modern playmat for the standard playmat. And it looks like Vance is definitely on Legacy, and Mirror Match is definitely on modern for us. They were going back and forth between the two of them. Mirror Match did offer to play standard, but his plan was 20 islands and 40 mill boys. The persistent petitioners or whatever. The blue pack rats. Except they don't get bigger. They mill for more, and that's cool, but they don't get any bigger. Deafening Clarion definitely destroys that deck. Or really any board wipe. I don't know, maybe not. Maybe he's onto something, because, you know, you wipe his board and he just starts dropping more out. Maybe I should be letting him play Mill Boys, and I'll just play humans. I don't know. But Mono Red's looking pretty hype. I do like the flexibility of Rakdos. Like, Theater of Horrors is a pretty damn good card. But at the same time, I think I might rather just have risk factors instead of that. I don't know. But hopefully I'll get to do some grinding in the evenings this week and update you on, oh, I tried out this deck and this is how it went and this is my thoughts. That's the hope. I can't guarantee anything, though. But as always, if you made it this far with me, thank you very much for listening, and hopefully I'll talk to y'all tomorrow, though, fair warning, there's, like, crazy snow coming. It's supposed to snow, like, all day tomorrow. So if the roads are iffy when I'm headed home, I probably won't record because, you know, I want to concentrate on not dying. So, hopefully tomorrow, but don't hold your breath.